Hello, beautiful light-filled souls. Have a great weekend. I just mainly wanted to make this video to thank you for your comments and letting me know that you read Angels in the OR. I did want to respond to a couple of comments, and one of those comments is that someone thought they knew me pretty well from this YouTube channel, but there's a lot more to the book. And I think anyone who loves writing, and I'm an English major and English professor, and I express myself better through words on the paper, more fully and with more depth than I do speaking. I mean, I like talking, obviously I have a YouTube channel, but there's something about the act of writing that allows you to keep clarifying what it is you want to say and to keep playing with it and perfecting it. And I like the craft. That's a fun part of the journey for me, and it's more natural for me to put things on paper, which is why I like writing. So yeah, there's a lot more to the book. There's more about child abuse than I talk about on this channel, but certainly it's been one of the great joys of teaching is helping other kids who suffered from child abuse and from parents who really just were wounded in their own ways and didn't know how to be there for them. I could see this and sense this in kids, and I had, enormous responsibility to, of course, report these things, but also to help many kids just make those first steps towards healing or even just survival in some cases. And that is a big part of the reason I was sent back, I think, to teach, is that God knew that I would understand a lot of different people's journeys, and it has been a beautiful experience. There's a lot of podcasts I've been on recently, so I'll mention a few of those in the links below. I also had someone ask me about my poetry, since I mentioned in the book writing poetry. I hope to get a book of poetry out there someday. In fact, I joke that writing a book of poetry is probably more competitive than anything out there, even more so than a memoir. So I joke that I wrote this memoir just so that I could get a book of poetry out there someday. So, perhaps that will be my foot in the door with a small press that might publish some of my poetry, because I have thousands of poems and some of them are published, and I'll post a link to that. I've posted some on my blog. But thank you for your comments. And I really just want to say that the ultimate goal of this book is to inspire healing. And sometimes, just for me, listening to someone's story expands my worldview and my sense of oneness with other people. So right now I'm reading Tara Westover's book, Educated, and it's fascinating and well written and amazing. I love to just delve into other people's lives for a short bit. And so that's why I put it all out there in this book. I thought, yeah, you know me from the YouTube channel, but there's a lot more to everyone's life. And it's kind of fascinating when you walk a mile in someone else's shoes. So that was part of the impetus, but more than that, it was to spread healing and to make near-death experiences more mainstream. And I have really gotten excited when some agnostics have read my book, and perhaps it's opened their mind a little bit, because I am hoping to interest people who maybe aren't interested in spirituality, but they might be interested enough in my story to give it a shot. But of course, I love you, my YouTube crowd, and those who just identify with a lot of the spiritual experiences, a lot of the other experiences as well, or at least find that it is hopeful in some way. Because even being connected to that great love of God and that knowing on the other side, when you experience any kind of trauma, you still have to walk through that healing part. And we shouldn't judge me or anyone for how messy the healing process can be for a while. And that's what I honestly attempted to show. And I think many of you got that the early stages of healing from trauma is not pretty. It's really painful. And so that's something that I look at, and I know when I see my students who are struggling, I know I'm only seeing a small part of their life, but I'm there for that small part of their life to hopefully make their life better in some way, or at least plant some seeds that will help them down the road get the help that they need. So I have a new YouTube channel that I'm starting to really just talk about college success and motivation. And it's based on my next book, which is focused on success for that community college and college population. Since I've spent most of my career with them, I want to open their minds in some ways and open their hearts to the possibility of greater healing as well, but also just to inspire them with good information. So thank you for listening, and may you be blessed.